Ladies and gentlemen, since 1933, the legendary Wheeling Jamboree has touched the hearts of millions of country music fans on Saturday nights, presenting the best in live country music entertainment, heard throughout the Northeast and parts of Canada, and today, heard around the world on the Jamboree Radio Network. On stage of the world's original Jamboree tonight are Dave and Valerie Parsons, Holly Garrett and Joanne Davis, the band Double Cut, Uncle Eddie and Robin with Scotty West and Buck Allemond. And now, this special presentation of the Wheeling Jamboree, we are honoring someone very precious to the city of Wheeling, who is beyond a legend in the country music industry and the finest ambassador the state of West Virginia has ever known. We dedicate this Jamboree to the memory of Doc Williams. Now, in the simple style of Doc and Chicky Williams, please make welcome to Dave and Valerie Parsons on this Wheeling Jamboree.
Wheeling back to Wheeling, West Virginia.
No journey that sang to me a mighty sad refrain. It made my heart so very, very yearning. I couldn't wait to hop the westbound train, and I'm wheeling back to Wheeling, West Virginia. Clickety-clack, when I'm back, I'll never ever roam. I'm wheeling back to Wheeling, West Virginia. Clickety-clack, when I'm back, I'll never ever roam. Thank you. As Dave said, you know, Doc was beyond the term legend, and for us to get to do this is very, very overwhelming tonight. Thank you very much. We tried to go back and find some of the songs that Doc and Chicky both had as hits, and we hope you guys will remember it. I grew up in Wheeling, and I went to the Jamboree my whole life, and there was always Slim Lee Hart and Ramblin' Roy and Crazy Elmer and all those folks, but for some reason Doc always stood just a little bit up here. And just being asked to get to do this is beyond anything we could have asked, we ever dreamed of, and I hope we do a little bit of justice to some of Doc's stuff here. There was an interesting story about this song. I guess when Doc traveled overseas, him and Chicky went to this country, and when they got ready to leave, they did like 23 or 24 nights in a row, and they did 2 shows a night, complete sellouts. And I guess when they got ready to leave, there were 100 and some children at the airport to tell them goodbye, and they sang this song to Doc and Chicky when they left. So I'm hoping. The bright moon was shining on the night that we parted. I held you and kissed you and called you my own, with a word sweet and tender. You said that you loved me, and that you'll return when the roses do grow. Roses are blooming, come back to me, darling. Come back to me, darling, and never more roam. Robins are singing, church bells are ringing, roses are blooming. Come back, be my own. Days have been long, dear. Nights have been dreary. I've missed you, my darling, since you went away. I still keep hoping that you will remember, that you'll remember. Come home someday. The roses are blooming. Come back to me, darling. Come back to me, darling, and nevermore. Robins are singing, church bells are ringing, roses are blooming, so come be my own. The roses are blooming, so come back, be my own. Last Monday, when I read the news on the internet that Doc had passed, I wrote a blog, and it doesn't seem right, but a lot of times when somebody passes away, you don't think of a lot of things until you hear that they've passed, and then all these memories start coming back to you in a big hurry. And one of the stories that came back to me was about 1996, I guess, or 7. Valerie and I were asked to sing right down the street by Nick's Music in the market. And the city of Wheeling was having a bicentennial or some celebration, and they had musicians all the way down through town. And I remember distinctly, we were on at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and Doc was at the Capitol Music Hall with the 1170 band.
We didn't get to hear him.
The hour before, so he was on a 10, so we didn't get to go up to hear him. And so we went ahead, 11 o'clock came, we did our show, and you know, 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, there aren't a whole lot of people around in that particular part of town, even then. And so we hadn't heard any applause, we hadn't heard any feedback, anything, the entire time we've been up for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I was right in the middle of a song that I know was something that was modern at the time. It wasn't an old classic song. And I'm singing, I've got my eyes closed, and I remember I looked to my right, and here came Andy McKenzie, who's now the mayor of Wheeling. And there was another gentleman on the other side. I'm not sure who he was, to be honest with you. And the gentleman in the middle was Doc Williams. And Doc was walking around town checking out all the other acts after he performed. And the only thing that went through my mind was, stop singing the song you're singing and do something he'd like. Because I knew, I'm going, this isn't Doc's music we're doing here. And while I'm trying to decide, and we hadn't done Wheeling Back to Wheeling in a long time, I'm thinking, I don't want to do that and mess it up in front of him, okay. And while I'm trying to decide, we finished the song we did, and for the first time and only time that entire hour, 2 hours we were up here, we heard, and they stood there and clapped for us, and I'm thinking, Doc Williams is applauding us. I mean,
very cool.
It was very overwhelming
very cool.
As far as that went in. But I mean, that Doc was a gentleman and a family man, and in the paper, in the local paper, they quoted one of his daughters as saying that they had promised Doc if they were going to do, he said, if you're going to pay tribute to me, make sure you include your mother and include Chicky. And so we worked up the song that Chicky put together, had the record on, and it went to number 3 on the Billboard charts in 1948. And so hopefully you guys will remember this. This is an old hymn, and we're in a church, so this is probably in the hymnals out there maybe. And it's got a recitation with it, so.
Yeah, say a small prayer for me with the recitation, even with my sheet.
Beyond the sunset, oh blissful morning, when with our Savior heaven is begun. Earth's toil is ending, a glorious morning, beyond the sunset, when day is done.
go first, and I remain to walk this road alone. I'll live in memory's garden, dear, with the happy days we've known. In spring I'll watch for roses red when fades the lilac blue. In early fall, when brown leaves call, I'll catch a glimpse of you. Should you go first, and I remain for battles to be fought, each thing you've touched along the way will be a hallowed spot. I'll hear your voice, I'll see your smile, and though blindly I may grope, the memory of your helping hand will buoy me with hope. Beyond the sunset, oh blissful morning, when with our Savior heaven is begun, earth's toil is ended, a blissful morning beyond the sunset, when day is done. Should you go first and I remain to finish with the scroll, no lengthening shadows shall creep in to make this life seem droll. We've known so much of happiness, yes, we've had our cup of joy. But memory is one gift of God that death cannot destroy. I want to know each step you take, that I may walk the same. For someday down that lonely road, you'll hear me call your name. Should you go first and I remain, one thing I'll have you do: walk slowly down that long, long path, for soon I'll follow you. In that fair homeland will know no parting, beyond the sunset forevermore. Thank you.
You know, Doc had 3 daughters, and we had some stuff prepared, a song to do tonight, and we had to adjust in a hurry. And Doc's daughters came up and sang with him a lot of times on our show, so we've only got 2. I've only got 2 daughters, but we're going to bring them up here and do some harmony on this song right here. And this is, Dave said that Doc was West Virginia's ambassador to the world, so we're going to do West Virginia's national anthem here for you. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze in country roads. Take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. I hear her voice in the morning now as she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. driving down the road, I get a feeling like I should have been home yesterday, or yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, oh, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads. This is Elizabeth and Amber Parsons, you guys. You know, it's only fair, since we're talking about Doc and the legends that are gone. And I also wanted to mention, you know, Ramblin' Roy Scott passed away a couple weeks ago too, and Ramblin' Roy actually played guitar in Doc's band, played every instrument Doc needed him to play when they were on the road together. And I don't know how else to say this, but you know, somehow I think Hillbilly Heaven's a little bit happier tonight. They've got a new member up there tonight, and the song asks a question. We're going to do this one and send us out to Doc's memory and his legacy, and goes like this. One night, Val and I were getting ready to do a show, and at the time it wasn't anything special. It was just another one-night stand. When I looked over my guitar, and there stood an old man. His cowboy clothes were frayed and worn, and his boots, they were far from new. He said, "I'd like to sit in with your band, you see, I'm a country singer too." Well, Val and I, we just kind of had a big laugh, and when I looked back at the old man, there was a tear in his eye. We figured we should probably cool it, because we didn't want to make him cry. And he reached down and he took my guitar with his silver-colored hair wind-blown. He said, "I've sang songs from Maine to California, and picking and singing is the only life I've ever known." And then he said, "I wonder if God likes country music. Will there be a place up there to sing my songs? Will He make my fingers nimble like they used to be, so I can play the chords and sing along?" Val and I, we just stood there. Neither one of us really knew what to say. He picked up my old guitar and he laid it down ever so gently. As he turned to leave, we both stood up and applauded. And I can still hear his words to this very day. He said, "I wonder if God likes country music. Will there be a place up there to sing my songs? Will He make my fingers nimble like they used to be, so I can play the chords and sing along?" And I think I can say with 100% certainty tonight that God does like country music, because He gave us Doc Williams and all these other legends in country music. Once again, we are so honored to get the chance to have done this tonight. Doc, we love you. And as Doc said about 354 times, I think, every time I saw him, and you get to the end of the show, you take one big chord, something like this here, lay it down, and said, "From Chicky, the Border Riders, and me," so from Val and my daughters and me, thank you very much. And I'm wheeling back to Wheeling, West Virginia, Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, when I'm back, I'll never, never roam. Thank you guys very much. We're Dave and Valerie. We're going to turn it back to Dave back here for a few messages. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's Dave and Valerie Parsons. And folks,